Hello, welcome to Verbling. Sorry about this slightly slow start today. Hangout took a long while to load. I don't really know why, but in any case, here I am, a couple minutes late, but nonetheless ready to go to work. Today, as per usual at this time, we're going to be talking about TOEFL. And today we're going to, again, continue our look at TOEFL listening. In fact, it's Friday. So if you know what that means, in TOEFL, that's practice day. So we're going to listen to some audios, audio recordings, audio files of conversations and lectures. And we're going to answer questions. Or actually, you guys will be answering questions and practicing the TOEFL listening test as it would actually be heard. We're going to check out the actual screenshots, what you'd be seeing, and we're going to take the test together. And that's what we're going to do. So come on in and join me, and we'll jump in pretty quickly here because I have plenty of material, lots of good practice we can do today. Andre's upset because it's Friday here. It's only Thursday where he is. But you know what, Andre? That means I'm gonna die one day ahead of you, no matter what. So think about it that way. You'll live one day longer, no matter what. Okay. Hi, Anna. How are you today?
Hi, teacher. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Anyway, Anna, we'll get started in just a second. I know I started late. Maybe that's why people are late coming in, but I really want to rock this practice, so please come on in and join me. Oh, where did Anna go? Okay. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Oakley. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Andre, did you have problems getting in the Hangout today? No, not really?
No,
okay.
Not really.
Terrifically slow for me. I have no idea why. Okay. All right, we'll let Anna. Anna just went in and out. Okay, very good. Okay, any viewers in there? There's plenty of room. Come on in and join me. Again, I apologize. Started just a minute or two late. However, if you're outside listening, listen carefully, and then you can join later and answer the questions, because I want to jump right in with the practice. I want to start listening to the audio files and practicing these questions. Practice, practice, practice. Now, first thing you're going to see, you will see some kind of screen with a picture. All right, so this may give you some kind of guess what you're going to be hearing. I would guess, looking at this screen, that probably you're going to hear a conversation because obviously there's two people. Okay, and then get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. All right, folks, absolutely. Get your pencil or pen and paper. Get ready to make notes. This is the key to your success on the TOEFL listening test. Make good notes. Try to get the main idea, the points that the speakers make, and usually there's something about the ending. Keep that in mind. So here we go. Okay, hang on. I'll wait half a second for Julissa to get situated in the class so she can hear the whole file. Julissa, is it Julissa or Julissa?
Hi, hello. Julissa, yes.
Julissa, okay.
Yes.
Hi, Julissa.
Hi, hello.
Okay, class, listen up. Here we go.
Listen to part of a conversation at a university library.
Hi, may I speak to the archives librarian?
I'm the archives librarian. What can I help you with?
Well, actually, I'm not a student here. I'm studying history at State U across town, but there's a collection
Oh,
of...
wait. Are you the... Sorry, I don't remember your name, but the librarian over there asked me about giving someone access to the Jacobson collection. Is that you?
Yes, that's right. See, my paper is on the development of the coal mining industry here in the city, and the Jacobson collection has a lot of information about John Jacobson, like when he founded the company and things, right?
Yes, it does. More than you'll be able to fit.
Hi, there is the teacher.
Hi, I'm back. I'm
Hi.
back again. So I'm sure you got cut off on the listening to the conversation, right? Sorry about that. I really am having some technical problems today. Not sure. So let me rewind just a tad, and we'll continue listening to. Okay, we have somebody, a student, talking to a librarian. Let's see if we can back it up and start again.
And the Jacobson collection has a lot of information about John Jacobson, like when he founded the company and things, right?
Yes, it does. More than you'll be able to fit into a paper, I'd bet. Did your librarian explain what our system is here?
A little. She told me to make sure I brought my college ID so I could get in the door.
Yes, well, I'll need to take a copy of it, too. Even our own students who look at items from our archive collections have to leave a copy of their ID with us. You'll also have to sign into the archives room whenever you enter and sign out whenever you leave. There's a desk, for security.
Wow. So a lot of this stuff is valuable.
Well, I don't know whether you'd get much money for it, but a lot of it is one of a kind. So if it were taken, that's it. It'd be gone.
I'll be careful.
Thank you. The other thing is, the things in the Jacobson collection are over 100 years old. So I'll have to ask you to wear special gloves while handling the books. Also, I'm afraid you won't be able to photocopy anything.
I figured that. I can probably get everything I need on note cards, but suppose there's a page or two I really want a copy of. Can I don't know, take a picture or something?
Well, I can't let you take a picture.
Okay.
Yes,
It
I
helps a
like
lot.
it. Yes, sure. Hi, teacher.
Oh,
Hey,
hello. Hello again.
what's wrong?
I have no idea. I keep getting bounced out of the Hangout. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, anyway, hopefully, really important that you'd made notes today because we're listening to the conversation 3 times in a row. All right, we're at the end of the conversation anyway. There's only like 15 seconds
I
left.
figured that.
Okay.
I ought
Anyway.
to. I mean, I can probably get everything I need on note cards, but suppose there's a page or two I really want a copy of. Can I don't know, take a picture or something?
Well, I can't let you take a picture, but we have scans, images of all the pages in the collection. You can buy a print of any page you want, but they're expensive, $5 a piece. So be sure you know which pages you want before you ask for them.
$5? Well, I guess given how rare these things are. Okay, so you want a copy of my ID, and then can you tell me how to get to the archives room so I can get started?
What does the
Okay.
man plan to write his paper on?
Okay, there we go. Okay, so, whoa, what happened there? Very strange. Okay, so first question, Anna.
Yes.
Let me do a screen share so you can see the possible answers. Okay, you will hear it, and you will also see the question. What does a man plan to write his paper on? Can you see the answers?
Yes. What does the man plan to write his paper on?
Mhm.
A. The preservation of old books. B. The local coal industry. C. A famous politician. D. Old university buildings.
Which do you think is the correct answer?
Um, um, the preservation of old books.
Really? Oh,
I don't know.
you don't know? Well, can we eliminate any answers? Are there any answers that you know are wrong?
Okay.
It's
So you,
about a person
Well,
important, really.
yes, about John Jackson, algo así.
Jacobson, I think.
Jacobson?
Jacobson.
Jacobson.
Really?
No?
Okay, Andre, you think it's C? Famous
I think
politician?
so.
Okay.
I think so.
Julissa, what do you think?
Yes, I think the same. We was talking about the collection of someone,
Really?
Jacobson.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I go with it.
Actually, actually, guys, the speaker, this is where it comes in very handy to take notes. All right, well, this is a typical TOEFL question, a little difficult. Yeah, they definitely talked about old books, no question. They talked about a famous person, but they didn't necessarily say he was a politician. He started a business. The student actually very clearly said, I'm writing a history on coal mining in the area. Okay, and John Jacobson was the first coal miner.
Okay. Is the local coal industry?
Indeed, it is. Now you can see why TOEFL is so difficult, because they give you answers about the other answers. All right, famous person. Yeah, it's quite confusing, and they certainly talked about old books. Definitely. All right. So notes are key. Listen, when you're taking your notes, make sure that you're listening for the purpose. Again, I said that in the beginning. Listen for the purpose and then any points. There's always a question about the main purpose of the conversation or lecture, whatever you're hearing. Okay, let's continue.
What security procedures does the librarian tell the man he must follow? Click on two answers.
Ah, okay. Please note the directions are slightly different. So actually, this would be 2 points. Okay. So if you get one, you get 1.
B and C.
I think he's wrong again. Beans.
Yes.
But it's talking about security procedures, so I don't think it's C. I think it's B.
But I
And
remember that the woman said
yes, she
he
says
had
that.
to pay $5 for peace.
Yes.
But that was to scan the
Yes,
the reading
to
or
scan
the book.
if you want a copy, you have to pay $5 in order to scan a copy of that.
Picture.
But
Yeah, of the page.
what was the last word?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, class. Again.
Hi again.
Hello, hello. Okay. Where were we when we were so rudely interrupted? Click on 2 answers. Okay. Andre, what do you think? Okay, the question was, what security procedures does the librarian tell the man he must follow? There are 2 correct answers. What do you think, Andre? Andre, are you there? All right, I'll
Yes.
throw this one.
I say that.
Oh.
I
Oh,
say
sorry,
that one of them is one of the answers is B, probably.
Allow his ID to be copied. Yes, I agree. One more. What do you think, Julissa?
I think D, to sing in and out of the archives room.
D, sign. Okay, it's sign in and out.
Time.
Yes, sign in and out of the archives room. And you are correct. Yay, very good.
Yes.
Yay, you are right. Okay. I guess I can read the question as well. Well, no, actually, there's a part I do need to show you. Okay, later.
Why does the woman say the archives need to be kept secure?
Okay. Eduardo, did you have a chance to listen to the recording or no?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, try this question. Why does the woman say the archives need to be kept secure? And here's your possible answers.
C.
Many items cannot be replaced. Yes, that is correct. If you remember, she said they're not really worth a lot of money, but they're one of a kind. She actually used the phrase one of a kind. So
Yes.
often you will hear a synonym for one of the answers. In this case, the synonym one of a kind means something cannot be replaced because there's only one. Very good, Eduardo. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, and the next question.
Why did the librarian mention the age of the books?
What do you think, Andre?
I think D. I'm not
D?
sure, but D.
They have increased in value. Can you POE a little? Is there any answers that you can get rid of?
Okay.
Is there anything you know are true? Well, let's look at them one at a time. They need to be handled with gloves. Is that true or not true?
Yeah.
I don't remember. They said that.
I think she said that.
Yeah, okay. I think so too. The man can only look at photographs of them? Photographs of the books?
No,
He's not allowed to.
Photographs of books. Right, but he can look at the books, and he has to use gloves. So be careful. This sentence B doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
You can only look at photographs of books. Well, what good is that? That would be silly.
Yes.
Okay.
Does not have sense. Does that make sense?
Right, okay. C, they were added to the collection recently. Does anybody remember anything about that? No, me neither.
no, no.
Me neither. Yeah, if it makes you go, wait, I can't remember anything about it, then POE it, eliminate it. They have increased in value. Now, this one's a little confusing because obviously they're valuable because they're one of a kind, right? So for me, it's got to be either D or A. Whichever one is the more concrete, the more specific information is probably going to be right, which means I would pick A. D is very vague. Okay, this is actually a valuable lesson. You guys taking TOEFL in the reading or the listening, if you can eliminate 2, which we did, we quite clearly eliminated 2, and you have 2 answers which both seem to be kind of possibly right. One is much more general than the other. Choose the specific one. Okay? Yes, the one with the specific information if you have 2 possible answers. Okay, now you're going to see a screen like this.
Listen again to part of the conversation, then answer the question.
Well, I can't let you take a picture, but we have scans, images of all the pages in the collection. You can buy a print of any page you want, but they're expensive, $5 a piece. So be sure you know which pages you want before you ask for them.
$5? Well, I guess given how rare these things are...
What did the man mean by this?
Well, I guess given how rare these things are...
Okay. Yes, on TOEFL you will have maybe 1 question per batch that may have repeated information. Notice that time you actually got to hear that 3 times. The guys say the same thing. All right, Eduardo, what did the man mean by saying, well, given how rare these things are... Wow, I memorized it. What do you think? What does that mean?
B.
He understands why the prints are expensive. Yeah, now in this question, geez, we get to hear it 3 times, so really my notes don't much help. Generally in TOEFL, this is going to be the sort of question. They're going to, he's going to use a kind of a set phrase. Given how rare these things are, he uses that weird language. Given that these are so old, he uses given, which is unusual. You know, you don't usually learn this. It's more difficult, but it is kind of an accepted normal phrase. So actually, they try to. It might even be an idiom that you have to kind of figure out. Okay. So sometimes they'll get you with that, but if they give you an idiom and they want you to figure out the idiom in context, then they're going to let you listen to it twice, which is mighty nice of them. Nicer than not, anyway. Shall we say that they're not really?
Sorry, Oakley. What is he said? What does he say?
He said, well, given that they are so old, okay, so she's talking about, oh, they're $5 for a scan, and he says, oh, okay, given that they're so old, so that's called. There's a word for that. Oh, darn it. Yeah. Anyway, I can't remember, but there's a word for that in English when we just leave off the end of a sentence because we're all familiar with how the sentence ends. So sometimes we just leave it off. Sometimes we just leave out pronouns. Similar to like when you're texting or messaging somebody in Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
You sort of shorten. I forget what the word for that is, but anyway, that's what he did. So they're showing you a special circumstance in English. It might be an idiom. It might be something like that. And they're testing if you know what that means. Okay, your next listening piece. All right. You look at the picture here. Obviously, dun dun dun. Obviously, you're going to be hearing a lecture. All right. So hopefully, I can stay in the class. This time. Grr. All right, let's give this thing a listen to. And please, again, I remind you, always take notes.
Listen to a professor lecture on the process of memory.
A popular saying goes, an elephant never forgets. But how about people? Have you ever forgotten the name of someone you just met at a party? Sure, we all have. This is because our memories are complex processes. We're not going to be able to talk much about the physiology of memory here, both because, well, it's not our subject, and because there's a lot we still need to learn about how the brain stores things. One thing we do know is that the mechanism isn't simple. When researchers scan the brain as a memory is forming, parts seem to light up. By light up, I mean, become active in random, scattered formations. But of course they can't be random because memory produces very orderly results. One researcher, this is Walter Freeman of the University of California at Berkeley, compares it to two kinds of crowds. The impulses in the brain look completely random, like the movement of a mob of people who are frightened. They just keep moving and they're not really going anywhere and there's no pattern to their movement. That's the way impulses in the brain look at first. But since memory does in fact work, the impulses must be moving more like people in a crowded train station. If you've got people running in, out, and from one train line to another, it seems like complete confusion. But really, they all know where they're going. They're following a set of instructions, the timetable for the trains, the board that tells which track is for which train, all that stuff. So you have to look carefully to see that there's actually organization, a system involved. That's how memory impulses must function. Freeman figures we just haven't figured out what the timetable and track numbers are. So we'll leave the physiology there. We're going to talk about the psychology of memory, the actual process. Psychologists divide memory into three stages: registration, long-term retention, and recall. In the initial stage, registration, information is perceived and understood like when you first hear a name or address. This information is then retained in the short-term memory system. Unfortunately, the short-term memory is limited in the amount of material it can store at one time, and unless refreshed by constant repetition, the new contents are lost within minutes when replaced by even newer information. To solve this dilemma, the information needs to be transformed into the second stage, long-term retention. The conversion to the long-term retention stage is most easily accomplished using what the research team labeled association. Associating the new information with the visual imagery evoked by it gives the individual a sort of memory crutch to rely on. For example, Let's say you're at a party and you've just met a woman named Lily. To remember her name, visualize it in connection to the flower, the lily. Oh, and be sure to make it outlandish, kind of silly even. Those images are most memorable. Picture her with a big basket of lilies, or wearing a hat with a lily on it, or even sitting inside a giant lily. The third stage, recall, is when the information stored through long-term retention, at an unconscious level is then deliberately brought into the conscious mind. However, this final stage primarily depends on how well the material was stored in stage 2. Of course, there are disturbances that may affect the recall stage. Age, for example. The older a person gets, the less new information he can recall. Disuse is another example. Here, forgetting occurs because stored information is not used and therefore is lost. Memory loss can also be physiological. If a person receives an injury to the head, he may experience what is known as amnesia, the failure to remember certain or even all events preceding the accident. Of course, many self-help books on how to improve your memory have been published, and many other mnemonic methods have been tried and tested. Let's take a closer look at some of the more widely accepted approaches to memory enhancement. Perhaps you may even incorporate some of them into your study habits as you prepare for the upcoming finals.
What is the lecture
Okay, and of course, what is a lecture mainly about? It's always going to be the first question. That's a lot, right? Pretty big.
Yes, very, very big.
Yeah, okay. I want to show something to you guys. Yeah. All right. I don't know if you can see it, but basically, as I was listening, I'm making my notes. I don't know if you can see this. My notes have 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. I'm basically writing an outline.
Like a diagram or stuff like this.
Okay. Just like you write an outline before you write something to organize your ideas, which, by the way, when you're writing in TOEFL, you should make at least a quick outline. When you're listening, you do the same thing. You're just receiving the information, and I create an outline. It really helps me understand things. It helps me count the points and understand the points. Wow, the Google Hangout Windows has like 4 little Google emblems in my screen. It's really weirding out today. Anyway. All right. So let's look at the questions. Julissa, I think it's your turn.
Okay.
First question. What is the lecture mainly about?
What is the lecture mainly about? A. Why some events are more memorable than others. B. The process by which memories form in the brain. C. Research on animals that may help explain human memory. D. Ways students can strengthen their abilities to remember things.
Strengthen their abilities, yeah.
Strengthen.
So what do you think?
I think B or D.
B or D? Okay. Actually, they kind of... What do you think, Andre?
I think it's D.
D.
Okay. I think it's A.
You think it's A? Wow! I'm going to say C, just so we all disagree. No, I'm kidding. Okay, now let's talk about this lecture for just a second. In my view, there were 3 parts to this lecture. In fact, I was trying to show you my notes. I have a space between the 3 different parts. Okay, in my view, there are 3 parts to this lecture. In the first part, the professor, whatever she is, she digressed, meaning she went way off topic. She said, I'm not going to talk about physiology. But then she did. Physiological body. But then she did. She talked about it for like 2 minutes. She lied. She did. She talks about Walter Freeman and the train station and random impulses. She had a lot to say about something she's not going to talk about. All right? TOEFL will frequently do this. So keep that in mind. This is not really the talk of the subject. If this, sometimes the speaker may say, "I'm not going to talk about this," but then they do. Or they may say something like that after. They may talk about something saying, "But that's not the subject of our lecture today. What I really want to talk about is this." Okay, so that extra weird information, we don't have to consider that. That's not the topic. All right. Then the part where she goes into the 1, 2, 3, short-term, long-term recall, and then the problems with recall, A, B, C, age, unused, amnesia. At the very end, and I understand why Andre says this, Andre's trying to think of the conclusion. Then she says something about, now let's talk about how students can use this information. She said, now. So it confused me. That's why I was a little late stopping the file. I forgot. It sounds like she's going to continue the lecture. Okay? She is not really concluding. She's introducing a new part of the lecture. She's introducing a new topic. It's weird because it seems logical to me that the audio file should have ended before she introduced a new topic. So I think the answer that says how students, ways students can strengthen their abilities, she kind of was introducing a new topic when she said that. So if I break down, if I get rid of that, all right, it was weird. It was strange, but then it just ended. Okay, obviously C, none of you chose C, and C is obviously something we can eliminate. There's nothing about animals and memory at all. We all recognize that. Process by which memories form in the brain. Well, actually, I'm not sure if she actually used the word process or not. I think she may have, but she sure used a word similar to it, because as soon as I heard it, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, because I knew there was going to be steps. She said something. I'm not sure if she used the word process or not. So I'm fairly confident with B. Why some events are more memorable than others. Okay. Earlier I told you if you come down to two answers, A and D, pick the more specific one. Okay, that's true, mostly, when they're asking for specific information. When they're asking for the topic, don't mean to confuse you, but choose the more general one. All right, the topic, that's a general question. And I apologize if that's confusing. But a question about the topic is about everything. So the answer is going to match the question, more general. After you get that first topic question out of the way, then they're going to be asking about specific information or points. All right? And sorry, I'm just confusing you guys. Sorry about that. Last thing I want to do. Okay, let's move on here.
About.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Why does the professor say Walter Freeman mentioned 2 types of crowd?
Okay, Walter Freeman. What do you think, Eduardo? Why does the professor say?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Okay. If you remember the part that she did not talk about, or she said she's not going to talk about, and then she did talk about. Oh, hang on. Let me share the question so that...
Can I read?
Yeah. Sorry. Silly me. I forgot to screen share. Yeah, why does the professor say... Why is she talking about Walter Freeman? And what is she talking about?
Walter Freeman.
What is she saying about Walter?
I think it's B.
But sense of direction? Okay. Well, sense of direction is something completely different. A sense of direction, okay, you have to understand this phrase. In English, when I say, Eduardo, do you have a good sense of direction? I mean, could you, if I now asked you to point north, could you point north? Or can you follow a map well? So that has a specific meaning. I don't think it was mentioned. Okay. Okay, there you go. You have to know that set phrase. You wanna try another one?
C.
C. Impulses in the brain may follow a pattern researchers don't yet understand. Yeah, do you remember what Walter Freeman was talking about? His examples? Actually, does anybody remember? Yeah, Eduardo.
Yes, she's talking about two examples: training station and another one. One moment, I read my notes.
Very good.
I don't understand my notes.
Okay, another key tactic. Make sure you can understand your notes. Thank you for making that point, Eduardo. Yeah. Walter Freeman had two examples of one random impulses where people, like in an emergency, just panic and run in every direction. And then the other one was the train station. To show that maybe we just don't know the schedules of the trains and where people are going, and that's why it seems random to us. All right. Let's move on here. Next one.
What is the initial stage of memory called?
Okay, Andre. Ooh. Wow. Wow, what do you think, Andre? I actually don't remember this.
Let me see. Let me check my registration. That's the first initial.
Yeah. I think. Okay, I don't remember her using the word registration at all. It's not in my notes. However, I have association is written right in my notes under long term, and I know the initial stage is short term, so I can get rid of A. Mnemonic devices are things like the lily. Okay, so I know that. So that was way late in the conversation. And conversion, I don't even know what that means, but I know conversion means to change from one thing to another. So if I'm looking for initial or first stage, it can't be conversion because conversion means I'm changing it from one thing to another. Probably they're talking about recall from unconscious to conscious. So I use POE to come up with that answer, but I agree with you. All right, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna listen again. We're gonna have another listen again to this part.
Listen again to part of the lecture.
For example, let's start the discussing the woman named Lily. To remember her name, visualize it in connection to the flower, the lily. Oh, and be sure to make it outlandish, kind of silly even. Those images are most memorable. Picture her with a big basket of lilies, or wearing a hat with a lily on it, or even sitting inside a giant lily.
What is the professor trying to illustrate?
Okay, there you go. All right, where are we? Whose turn? Julissa. It's back to you. What is the professor talking about in this part? Or why is she talking about lilies so much?
Okay, I think she says that B, I think the most memorable images come from nature. Like you can associate with nature, and it's easier for you.
Okay. All right, but okay.
No, wait.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will. What do you think here?
Memorable is that something that you will remember
That's
for
correct.
a long time, right? Yeah.
That's-
Okay, then I go with B.
Okay. All right, Eduardo, Andre, what do you think? Do you agree with Julissa, or do you think one of these other answers might be better? No, nothing.
Yes,
Dumb.
Mm,
A. People have an easier time remembering unusual images.
yes, I go with A too.
With A, too. Okay, I agree with both of you gentlemen. Sorry, Julissa. Yeah, that's why she's talking about, for example, picture her sitting inside of a lily. Okay? She's just trying to say, and she's just trying to say the more strange the picture is, the better or the longer term memory you have about it. Okay. Let's see. One more question here.
But when she said to do something outlandish, I think
Yeah.
that is not to make it easier, something that you will remember fast.
Ah, well, okay. Outlandish means unusual.
Ah, okay.
Actually, those are direct synonyms.
Unusual.
Outlandish. Like, I think of the word outlandish, and I immediately think of Lady Gaga.
Seems very unusual.
That's actually my picture in my mind. My memorable image is Lady Gaga.
How do you
I thought it was
Right.
that outlandish was like something easier or something very simple. So that comes.
I know. It's something very, very bizarre and strange. What was your question?
how do you write the word?
Outlandish? Okay. I'll try. I'll try. My chat window closed one of the many times that now I'm afraid I'm gonna get kicked out again. Hang on. I have to, now I'm trying to load it and it's not, my goodness. Uh-oh, I might get kicked out again. I don't know. We'll see. Great, I'm frozen.
Can you spell?
Oh yeah, okay. No, I had to reload the chat window. I was paranoid. Outlandish. Okay, that's how you spell it. Outlandish. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
One more. Oh, you're very welcome. All right. Let's see. One more. I think there's one more question here. What does the professor imply about a memory that has passed through the long-term retention stage? What do you think, Andre? What does the professor imply about a memory that has passed through the long-term retention stage? Passed through.
Could you please? Can I check the
Picture,
share
the
the
document.
document?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I did it again. I'm sorry. I'm staring at it, but I forgot that I haven't shared it with you. Sorry. Yeah, here he goes. One more time. What does the professor imply about a memory that has passed through the long-term retention stage? Use
I think it's B.
Okay. How did you come by that that guess?
And
Because I would say the same thing.
I put in my notes I wrote stored is not stored. If you don't use the memory stored, you probably could lost.
Okay, very good. I have unused in my notes. So not used and unused. If I see something in my notes that is directly in the answer, or perhaps, you know, a synonym, yeah. Plus, we could use POE here. It's exactly the opposite. In old age, we lose memory. When our brain is injured, we get amnesia, we lose memory. So these C and D are exactly opposite. Takes a long time to recall. I didn't really hear anything, so I'm unsure. I would have been stuck with A or B, and since I have B directly in my notes, I have not used. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Okay. Oh, okay. One more question. I guess we have just enough time. Here we go. What will the class do next, Eduardo? Ah. I kind of mentioned this when I was talking about my notes. Eduardo?
I think is D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You agree, Jalissa? Yes?
Yes.
Yes,
When
Andre?
they finish with the introduction, they were going to start with that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's why I sort of said that last part of the lecture really wasn't a conclusion. It was actually an introduction. And it was so weird for a reason, because eventually finally we found out that there's going to be a question about it. All right? So actually, you would have had to be able to recognize that, in fact, that was not a conclusion at all. You have to listen carefully. Next, we're going to talk about how you students can actually use this information to help you study or whatever. Right. And they will occasionally do this in TOEFL. I kind of forgot about this. They will give a portion of a lecture. All right. They will clearly state the topic, and there will be points. Always, always. But the lecture may be like stolen from the middle. So they may be continuing, but the audio you hear just ends. All right? So in that case, there's a good chance they're going to say, okay, now what will happen next? What will happen next questions are very common. They also mean it's the end of that section of questions, and you're going to hear another audio file. That question is always last. What will the class do next? I think you probably noticed that the TOEFL questions, they match the order of the lecture or the conversation. They do go in order, so they should go in order of your notes as well. Pretty much. Not always. Well, I think they did, actually. I think once in a while they move something around. They have a more general question in a weird place. In any case, we are out of time. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. I really appreciate it, given my technical problems. Thank you so much, and
Thanks, teacher.
see you guys next time. Have a great
Thanks.
day.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you all.